Today we're going to talk about a recent case involving YouTube's really messed up copyright system and someone who is exploiting it in the worst possible way.
Anyone can put in a copyright claim to YouTube. Then what happens is once they get this copyright claim, YouTube sends that to the creator who's posted the content. The content creator then has the option to either create a counterclaim through YouTube, which is a legal process once you do that. They also have the option to contact the claimant if they want to. If the creator decides to counterclaim, YouTube will put the videos back up. That's what usually happens, unless the claimant, who's saying their copyright has been infringed upon, submits proof that they've started legal action against the YouTuber or creator. Once they've got proof that legal action has been started, YouTube essentially washes their hands of everything. They say that there is a chance that they'll be re-uploaded if you get a final court order in your favour.
As you can see in the emails, Serge simply wanted to help them with their project. No payment, no credit needed, nothing like that. Just wanted to help. When they eventually did agree, things took a bit of a turn because the affection level between their relationship was not up to the standards expected by Serge. And this would be when things really took a dark turn. What we're seeing on the screen now are some conversations between Serge and DissociaDID Nin, where things have begun to be a little troublesome. Basically, he's asking for a different level of affection in their communications, and she's trying to explain to them that she's not comfortable with that she prefers a professional relationship, that she values him and their friendship and whatnot. She's trying to set boundaries, which is a pretty hard thing to do in general, and it takes a lot to get to a point where you're comfortable doing that. So to have him consistently invalidating and basically implying that she's wrong or crazy somehow for being uncomfortable with their correspondence can be a little disheartening, to say the least. What I see, in my opinion, just as an observer, is somebody who had something else in mind altogether, and when it wasn't going their way, begins to get just a little bit butthurt. And that is my opinion still as to why what he did is what he did. When Nin decided she no longer wanted to interact with him, he threw a fit, had a tantrum, and decided to attack her channel because that was the only way he had to get at her. And let's remember this very important comment from their very first interaction, because it's very important in regards to what happens next. As a result of the harassment and the attacks on her channel, Nin went and was able to receive an injunction from the court, and that is in process now, as I understand it. But in a nutshell, it's an anti-harassment lawsuit that will be dealt with in the courts. I am going to play some clips to just let her explain the basics rather than regurgitate it myself. Before we get to that, though, just a little bit more insight into the interactions that led where it did. If you want to pause and give these a read, or just save them for later, but it's important for context because it is incredibly clear to me why this happened to her channel. And it's really distressing that YouTube allowed this to happen. The tools are meant to protect people, and they're being taken advantage of constantly. As you're very aware, I cover this regarding Lily Jean and Lore, and this is just another example of how the system that's designed to protect us ends up hurting us in the end. DissociaDID did what they needed to do to counter these, and the videos were reinstated, and the content that he was claiming, which is a disclaimer that it's still unclear as to who owns that disclaimer, had been removed from videos. So videos that he had nothing to do with, he's claiming fraudulently, just like somebody else we know likes to do. Yet YouTube does nothing to stop this, despite there being a harassment suit in process, and leaving absolutely no alternative but for Dissociative to have to communicate directly with the person who is allegedly harassing
They
them.
were never in the videos at all, only in the description box, and they're now gone from there as well. We maintain that we wrote and therefore have the full IP rights to that disclaimer that we wrote in the description box, and you can see screenshots of how it was written here, but ultimately it is up to the court to decide who owns the IP rights to the disclaimers and the other 3 videos that he claims that he advised us on. And added to them a little bit and just generally was there as an advisor and somebody who had a second opinion about what we were doing. Videos that have been removed from our channel are not part of the court claim. This is because the IP case and the takedown requests relate specifically to the disclaimers in the description box of our videos and not the videos themselves. Those videos were created by us alone, and they were uploaded and created, again, months and in some cases years before we ever even knew Sergio Costa existed. He has not, cannot. This is an extremely simple and clear-cut case. Somebody said that their copyright was infringed by some text. That text was removed. The video should be restored. Okay, now for the details. On 24th of February 2021, Sergio Costa created 5 copyright strikes through YouTube against the DissociaDID channel. 3 copyright strikes will terminate a YouTube account and its associated channels if it is not solved, and you will also be banned from YouTube for life. You can see Mr. Costa's copyright claim here. This was a disclaimer of 4 sentences that was copied into the description boxes of all our videos, even the ones that we had created and uploaded years before we ever met Mr. Costa. Because of this, he could target all our videos, even the ones he had nothing to do with. I uphold that I wrote this disclaimer. I sent it to Costa for his opinion, and he corrected the grammar for less than 1 sentence. The copyright strikes affected 24 videos, which YouTube removed. This means that those videos now cannot be viewed. We also have a large notification showing on our channel that shows we have copyright violations now. On the 25th of February 2021, we submitted counterclaims for all 24 videos affected by his copyright claim. On the 9th of March 2021, Mr. Costa creates 2 more strikes against our channel, which causes 8 more videos to be removed by YouTube. There are now 7 copyright strikes on the DissociaDID YouTube channel. We submitted counterclaims for the 8 videos that were affected by the new strikes and tell YouTube that we're happy to remove the disclaimers if the videos are reinstated. All the counterclaims were successful at first, and the videos were rightfully reinstated about 14 working days after the counterclaim had been assessed and forwarded to Mr. Costa. When the videos were reinstated and we had access to them again, we immediately removed the disclaimer from their description boxes. That should have meant that there was no way for Mr. Costa to claim copyright infringement on them again. We had already removed all the disclaimers from all the other videos so that they could not be removed. However, Mr. Costa then took to Twitter, tweeting directly to YouTube about his legal case against us, and we believe inciting harassment against us publicly. Mr. Costa expressed in his tweets that YouTube had told him that they could not find the infringing material. However, due to his tweets and public pressure, YouTube once again removed the videos that had been reinstated despite there being no infringing content. YouTube initially didn't inform us that the content had been removed again until we emailed them asking for updates about the copyright strikes. YouTube then sent us several emails explaining that the content had been removed once again because Mr. Costa had provided proof that he was taking legal action, but the videos could potentially be reinstated if we submitted a court order in our favour. On the 12th of May 2021, Mr. Costa creates 2 more strikes against the YouTube channel, affecting and removing 7 more videos. None of these videos had the disclaimer that Mr. Costa was claiming copyright for in their descriptions, and none of those videos were made with Mr. Costa's input. Whereas before there had been an option to submit a counterclaim, now the only option to resolve the strikes was to contact claimant, meaning we would have to contact Mr. Costa directly, despite YouTube and Costa's lawyers being aware that we have a legal case for harassment against him. 13th of May 2021, we emailed YouTube about these new claims, and we also emailed them because the previously reinstated videos had been removed again, but only after Mr. Costa had taken to Twitter to publicly speak to YouTube about the legal case. However, we had already removed the allegedly infringing material that Mr. Costa had based his YouTube copyright claims on, the disclaimer in the description boxes, so there was no infringement occurring and no reason for our videos to have been removed again. 25th of June 2021, 49 more videos were removed. This means that there are now 12 strikes on the DissociaDID channel. We received automated emails from YouTube saying that our channel will be deleted in 7 days because of the strikes. This means that another 49 videos were removed on top of all the other videos that had already been removed due to his previous copyright claims against the channel. Costa submitted different counterclaims this time, some about the disclaimer and 2 about the scripts of 2 videos, 3 at a stretch, that he claims joint ownership to in his IP case. These videos are the Return to YouTube video, the Between My Teeth video, and the Impatient. With the Impatient video, the only thing that we can remember and find proof of him doing anything with the script for or anything to do with that video at all, because we wrote it when we were in an inpatient facility. The only contribution that he made was some links that he thought might be helpful to add into the description box. 21. Nin spends hours submitting counterclaims for the 49 videos removed by Costa's copyright strikes. This was an extremely taxing and traumatic situation to be handling and significantly worsened our mental health. Nin especially was experiencing flashbacks and panic attacks while trying to get through all these claims. The system as a whole was massively anxious and depressed. However, YouTube refuses to reinstate any videos, even though the majority were not involved in the legal case, and we believe that the takedowns were fraudulent due to the copyright claims not existing in the works, which were the previously removed disclaimers. This also did not account for the fact that we had 3 legal cases against him, while he had 1 against us. 19th of July and 21st of July 2021. Mr. Costa submitted 5 more takedown requests. Some of these videos were private and or unlisted and were therefore not visible to the public. I don't know how he got the URLs. Again, all of these videos were made and uploaded before we ever met Mr. Costa. He does not have any copyright over the works. The videos were removed from the channel and we submit counterclaims for all 5 videos. Here is a spreadsheet showing all the videos that were removed and when they were uploaded. Again, every single takedown request except for the return to YouTube video, the between our teeth video and the inpatient video. Those are the only ones that aren't to do with the disclaimer in the description, which had been removed for every single one of these videos. 24th of August 2021, the first case management conference was held in court for our harassment case against Mr. Costa. An emergency interim injunction order was given to us by the court. This is a legal order from the court for Mr. Sergio Costa to cease his harassment of us. YouTube still declines to reinstate the videos as the order is from a harassment case in the county court and not the IP court. You can also see him leaking our town. Costa is then fired by or fires his lawyers. He hires new ones for the IP case, but chooses to represent himself in the harassment case with the support of a specialist barrister. This means that we have to communicate with him directly, which is obviously extremely distressing for us. He could have chosen to hire another firm like he did for the IP case, but declined to. No matter what is decided is legally acceptable in terms of creating legally binding contracts, the nature of a gift, inherent copyright and IP rights, we believe that Mr. Costa doing this was morally wrong online. Mr. Costa continues to talk about us daily on Twitter and Reddit and God knows where else, while we are still being silent and nice and, you know, just keeping quiet. We deserve to be heard too. I'm doing is giving you, as our viewers, the facts as to what's happened to the channel that you chose to subscribe to. We're not going to be silenced anymore. Things are different now. I'm stronger. And we're not scared.
Serge has taken to privacy claiming anybody who is talking about this situation and issuing privacy complaints on several videos that have discussed this. I'm going to do this anyways because there's absolutely no violation, and he has made himself a public figure. He has chosen to dox another public figure. And if people want to talk about it, we have the right to talk about it. These messages were shared by a member of the conversation who chose to make them public, as she had every right to do. So grow up, Serge. Please check out the link in the description for the entire video by DissociaDID about this topic. Whether you're familiar with their channel or with things surrounding their channel, this is wrong. What's happening to this channel is wrong, and it needs to be known.